Out-of-state UAW union bosses are coming down.
Union bosses cannot come down from anywhere and make an election happen. Only workers can sign a petition to start that sort of thing going. The United Auto Workers have an election at the International Motors plant, Navistar, here in Huntsville. The workers there filed a petition to join the UAW some weeks ago. The election will be held on Thursday, August 7th, 2025, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is going to be at the Customer Experience Center at the employer's facility, the employer being Navistar / International Motors, located at 485 Short Pike Road, Southwest Huntsville, Alabama. So if you work at Navistar, if you are an employee there, make sure that you get out and vote. And obviously, I'm going to encourage you to vote union yes. We have a lot of union educational videos out that I will direct you to. We have a Unions 101 stuff. We have some videos about how unions bargain. But the Unions 101 videos are really good just to give you an idea about what a union is, like mechanically, logistically, like what does it mean to be a part of a union. We have a video about how unions negotiate contracts. How does that process happen? How do they get input from the workers, stuff like that? How do grievances work? We've got all sorts of videos. So if you've just got questions about unions, I would really encourage you to go and watch those if you have questions about what it means to join a union, what it means to be a part of a union. But bottom line, you should do it. You should vote yes because union members make more money than non-union members. Union members have better retirement plans than non-union members. Union members have better health care than non-union members. Union members have a safer workplace than non-union members. Union members are less likely to die on the job than non-union members in similar situations. And all of that is because in union workplaces, the workers have decided to band together and bargain collectively, to come together and try to and advocate for themselves together, because you are stronger together than you are by yourself. I mean, even the Bible talks about this, right? How people are stronger together. And what's the verse in Matthew? Where two or more are gathered in my name, there will I be also. Not one person by themselves, two or more, right? So if it takes two or more people to get God in the room, maybe that's just good life advice. Try to go into things together with multiple people, not just by yourself, right? I think that's good life advice generally. And it makes a lot of sense intuitively too, right? I mean, just think about how much leverage you have as an individual employee at Navistar or International Motors, right? Maybe you're even the best. If you're the best worker at Navistar, you can still be replaced tomorrow. But if everybody at Navistar got together and said, we want something to change, we want this to happen, it's a lot more difficult to replace everybody in the plant than it would be to just replace one person. And at Navistar, unlike at some other places, other Navistar workers are already unionized. So it's not like you would be one union plant in a sea of non-union operations, which does create some logistical difficulties in getting a first contract. We've seen these difficulties play out at Amazon, where workers have unionized in New York, or at Starbucks, where there have already been 10,000 Starbucks workers come together to organize a union, and they still haven't been able to get a first contract because the whole union generally is non-union. That's not the case at Navistar. You will be joining people who are already unionized and probably, I don't know, but probably make more than you do. Navistar is probably getting what they call the Alabama discount. and paying you less than they do at their union facilities. So you should join a union. You should vote yes in the union election. And that's going to be better for you. I'm going to respond to some of the ads that have been going out. You've been seeing it, especially if you work at Navistar. But if you're just in the Huntsville area and you like watch stuff on the internet, you've been seeing some anti-union ads. And so we pulled one of those, and we're going to react to those. And we're also going to react to some of the stuff that the company has been saying, despite the fact that the company has a neutrality agreement with the union. The company has agreed that they would be neutral in a union election, that they would not try to retaliate against you to make life more difficult for you if you wanted to unionize. And yet maybe they're not exactly doing that. But let's go ahead and play this, and we're going to be jumping into this ad, but we've got this clip one. Let's go ahead and play it.
Thanks to our culture of hard work, flexibility, and innovation, businesses are investing.
They said, thanks to our culture of flexibility. That is bad for workers. A culture of flexibility is bad for workers. A culture of flexibility means that your boss can come in that day and change anything that he wants about what it's like to work at that plant. At any time, for any reason, or for no reason at all, without your input, without your consent. That's not the type of workplace that I want to work at. I want to work in a workplace where I have some level of control over what happens, where the boss can't just steamroll me. Right? When you work in a union workplace, your boss can't just steamroll you. If you have a union contract, that is something that you and management get together and negotiate together and sign on the dotted line together that says this is how we agree to run this shop cooperatively. How we can work together to produce the best truck engines the world has ever seen, right? Having that level of input is really important, I think, and helps to create respect and dignity for you, so that, you know, it's a place where the boss just doesn't control everything. Why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want to have some say over the place where you work? Let's continue.
And expanding in Huntsville, creating new jobs and rising wages. But now, out-of-state UAW union bosses are coming down.
They're saying that the union bosses are coming down. There's only an election because workers signed a petition to have an election. Union bosses cannot come down from anywhere and make an election happen. Union bosses can't just force workers to vote in a union election. Only workers can sign a petition to start that machine, to start that sort of thing going, right? Y'all are having an election because y'all wanted to have an election, not because of Sean Fain or whoever else. It was because of you. Let's continue.
Seeking to involve themselves in your workplace's and economic future. Your family's success is built by you, not the UAW. Allowing the UAW to take dues out of your hard-earned paychecks to advance the union's political agenda and culture of corruption doesn't build a stronger Alabama.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. So they're saying that the UAW wants to involve themselves in your workplace. Again, it is going to be people, if you vote to unionize, you are going to be the ones electing people to the negotiating committee. You are going to be the ones telling the negotiating committee what your priorities are. You are going to be the ones voting on whether or not to accept the contract that the negotiating committee brings back, right? It's not the UAW involving themselves in your workplace. It is you standing up for yourselves and negotiating with your boss over the terms and condition of your work with support from the UAW and from other workers at Navistar. There's also this thing about dues. Oh, you know, dues are so scary. They're going to take dues out of your hard-earned paycheck, blah, 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 blah. A lot of us go to church, right? And a lot of us tithe. Some of us don't tithe 10%, but some of us, give some amount of money to the church. That's what you do when you are part of an organization. You contribute to the organization's financial stability. That's all that dues are. And in a state like Alabama, where it is right to work, it is worth noting that it is your choice whether or not you pay dues, even if you unionize, even if you get a union contract. That is your choice. You should choose to pay the dues. You should. And I would judge you if you didn't. But it is still your choice. And then they talked about the political agenda. Dues are not spent on political donations. Okay? That's just not a thing that happens. It's actually illegal. They cannot contribute your dues money to a campaign. That's not what happens. It's illegal.
Jacob, are businesses held to that same standard?
And businesses are not held to that same standard. Actually, businesses can use any amount of the profit that you generate with your labor to contribute to candidates for office. And they do that all the time. You have no say over it, right? It's insane. Talked about corruption. They talked about corruption. There was a whole trial about that, and a lot of people have gone to prison. And that's been done. That has happened. And again, that has happened because there are restrictions on what unions can spend money on. And there is transparency. And there are mechanisms for bringing that back in line with where the workers want it. And so hopefully that kind of dispels some of the stuff in that ad. And I also want to read this statement at the last image of the ad. They said that the Business Council of Alabama is responsible for this ad. It represents the collective business interests of the entire Alabama business community. This is an ad from a union of bosses representing the collective interests of business in Alabama, saying that you don't deserve an organization to represent your collective interests. You should negotiate with us, with the entire business community as a single individual. But businesses, actually, we are going to be a part of an organization to further our collective interests.
Right. Even involving and supporting out-of-state businesses, right? Because Navistar is not based in Alabama, for what it's worth. Illinois, by the way.
I mean, it's just too much, man. It is too much. So there you go. The people that are trying to tell you not to negotiate collectively, not to participate in collective bargaining, not to come together with your sisters and brothers on the job, they're doing that as a part of a collective. I mean, it's too much. It's too ironic. Rules
for thee and not for me. Also known as flexibility.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Also want to mention really quick, the UAW, because they are unionized, because other workers are unionized with the UAW, they do have a neutrality agreement that makes provision for the union providing notice of the start of an organizing campaign, which the union did, and it provides for union presentations at information meetings, not just one-sided anti-union propaganda, and it provides for no negative language against the other party. The union has upheld its commitments in the neutrality agreement with Navistar. The company has not. The company has been in the media talking about how they are going to inform their employees why we believe joining the UAW union is not in the best interest of our team culture, the Huntsville plant, or the community's future. That sounds like a negative statement to me. Also want to inform you that they have been paying consultants to come and dissuade you from organizing, paying consultants between $200 and $300 an hour to convince you that you don't need a union. People that have been involved in union busting at Mercedes-Benz, PPG Industries, Cleveland Institute of Music, and Amazon. There's one person who's been seen on the shop floor, Luisa Perez, who has subcontracted for $2,600 a day. I mean, could you imagine making almost $3,000 in one day? Here's another person, Robert Michel, or Michael, He's been seen in the plant, and he has done this work for other companies for $3,500 a day. They have not filed their paperwork with the Office of Labor Management Standards, despite the fact that they are supposed to. They are supposed to file how much the company is paying them right now for their services so that you can see who is being paid and how much they are being paid to dissuade you from forming a union, but they haven't done that yet. We have. I know that Labor Lab has filed for failure to disclose and stuff like that because they're in violation right now of federal law because they haven't disclosed how much they're paying these people and who they're paying.
Wow. Violating the neutrality agreement, violating federal law. That's not good.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.